Hey, Angelina County and surrounding areas. Um, though there's a lot of people that are actually flooded down in Houston area, uh, uh, Liberty County, I know for sure. Tyler, that area up there's road closures going all around East Texas, Southeast Texas, and I wanted to. I'll give a shout out for all those guys that are out there in those boats bringing people back and forth. I've done that before. I did it in Harvey, and I know how much toll it can take on these guys that are out there on the water all day. I mean, it's one thing for you to go out there and go fishing in the afternoon, but to be on that lake all day, um, as hot as this gotten, it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge. So thank you guys for all you do. Um, Cajun Navy comes up to mind on those. That was a good organization that I hooked up with in Harvey, and I hear that they're actually back again. And if you want to volunteer for something, just look up Cajun Navy. They need they dwell in communications, they dwell in rescues, they deal in all these things or whatever. So if you have some free time or whatever, um, maybe give them a call, see what you can maybe send or whatever. Still examining the amount of damage, and I think we're supposed to have some storms coming in tonight too. So we all stay dry. Anyway, update of Angelina County. Um, I was looking over some of my notes that I have, um, trying to give an update or whatever. Um, in the news, Crown Colony, which is a highfalutin, rich place where you go live and buy expensive homes or whatever in Lufkin, Texas, they're pitching a fit because there's a gas station there there's a gas station that's going in there and they're all pissy because the fact is that they don't think that their area um, should be occupied by a truck stop and a gas station. It's not going to be as big as Bucky's, but anyway, it's going to be a pretty big place. And um, kind of going off of how much land they've got cleared and how much work they're actually doing. This work is shut down pretty much because of the rain, but these individuals think that it's okay for them to it's okay for you to put a gas station over here where these people live, but not over here with us because we're too good for that. We're concerned about the noise. We're concerned about blah 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 whatever. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's good for our economy. I mean, hell, we got businesses that are actually forming up on 69 all the way from Zavala all the way into Lufkin, and they're setting up on the highway. Um, there's a bunch of gas stations going in. But anyway, that's just a sign of the times. But for the audacity of somebody to think, we're going to put it over here with you, and you have to deal with it because we're too good for this, or we make too much money for this, our taxes pay. No, shut up. You know, you know better than the rest of us. Put your pants on the same way I do, and everybody else does around here, unless you're transgender or what the hell you are anyway. But I just pissed all the transgender people off, didn't I? So that is one thing that's actually going on in the news. Second thing that's going on in the news here is we've seen a number of prominent county officials not running and or resigning or their time is over with, um, or what they were elected to. They're resigning like flies, and everybody's running for cover because the information that has came out points a lot of fingers at a lot of people. And we were asking the question, did you know or didn't you know? If you knew, why didn't you do anything about it? If you didn't know about it, then why didn't you? I mean, that's basically it or whatever. But um, for shits and giggles, I mean, it's just funny to watch because all these people who are arrogant, okay, and what I mean by arrogant is just believe that when they walk into the room that everybody is subservient to them and that they need to be treated special or whatever. And that's not the case because the fact is that we elect you, okay? You were there to do our bidding and make decisions for us. Well, we can't make those decisions, and we trust you to make those decisions. And once you make those decisions, and we require you to actually inform the public on why you made this decision, why you voted yay or nay. Now, in Angelina County, it seems unheard of. To get a county commissioner to vote nay on an object is not heard of. Everything is, and please tell me I'm wrong. Anyway, you can tell it's crooked as a dog's hind leg whenever all the commissioners, aye, all opposed, no, and you don't get nothing. So it kind of seems like that they were, it kind of seemed like they knew what the meeting was about before they came in here. Maybe they had the votes all counted. And then another thing we have is just an ongoing problem with meetings and those kind of things. If you give you an example, if you are considering an item on the agenda, then that has to be spelled out. It has to be discussed. It has to be discussed by all the members. It needs to actually be put out there, pro and cons. What are the good parts? What are the bad parts? And we don't have that. We have a judge who tells us what the paperwork says, tells us what these figures mean, tells us based on his interpretation, and they don't open up the questions. Nobody else has an opinion. So things just fly past here. We are also monitoring the case of Mr. Chuck Walker, who settled out of court. He was a whistleblower, and he settled as a whistleblower. The commissioner didn't want to discuss it. They didn't want to disclose it, but anyway, it had to be disclosed. And it's good to see that our media, our local media, not Lufkin media, but they report on things that are happening, especially of this kind of nature, especially if it deals with government. Lufkin Daily News, they are biased. They do not, they don't tell you the full story. And that's what people want to hear. People want to hear that everything's going great, everything's good, whatever. But we don't think about if somebody not telling us the truth and what the implications of that would be. So I believe Mr. Walker, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe Mr. Walker still has a case pending against Terry Pitts. And I don't know if that was settled in the lawsuit or if it was considered. I don't know. We didn't get an affirmative action on that, or affirmative answer, yes or no. And this is another example of lack of information. It is very difficult for us to determine how well of a job that our commissioners are doing or our public officials are doing if we're operating in the dark. We are the government oversight. We are the citizens. We oversee our government, contrary to popular belief. But we have to participate in that government by voting or whatever. Nobody from my generation really faults somebody for being a Republican or Democrat here in the state of Texas. It's a very fine line, but whenever we run for commissioner's office, nobody pays attention if they're Republican or Democrat, Uniparty, or whatever. Nobody pays attention to that. It's just by name recognition. And they'll come out with like 3,000 something votes or whatever, because the fact is that everybody knows small town politics, and it's just the same thing over and over again. But I have a problem with the fact is that once our rights as individuals are being stomped on, and not being allowed to pursue information or get information, then there's something there. Yeah, something ain't right about that whole picture. We still currently have, and I have the AG's letter over there. They're still reviewing the case on the death of Mr. Smallwood in the Angelina County Jail. And I wanted to read just one part to you. This is a part of their argument. And I got it right here, so you guys know. Let's see. Oh, there's a Attorney General thing. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I'll see that or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, Texas State, yeah, Attorney General. So I got the Attorney General. And basically what they said is that one of the reasons that they were given that this information was confidential, and who determines whether it's constitute. I mean, it's privileged information or not. Our commissioners do. No, we don't want that to get out. Now, the government code for the section requires you claim that some of the submitted information is accepted from the disclosure under 552.101 of the Texas government code. We have considered the exception you claim and reviewed the submitted information. In preparation to this, they actually stated that the common law comes into play here as well. I haven't pursued that avenue yet of getting a decision on getting this information. Kind of reached a impasse because the fact is we've got an attorney general. We've got a county attorney who's supporting withholding this document, and also with our commissioners as well. Now this is where it gets pretty funny, because the fact is that the county denied information on these principles, confidentiality, embarrassing moments. That's some of the things that were stated in here. Information, okay, we have considered. And they actually stated on here, and I'm trying to find out if I. So their ruling is this: is that it has to meet two prongs of the common law on this subject. Number one, it has to actually the definition of I'm trying to say, I'm trying to get this right. Basically, the excuse of embarrassing and confidentiality will be compromised. I don't know about you, but I pay taxes, and we just got to increase. We just got to put in for extension of our jail, and we've spent money there. So why can't we see what's going on? Why is it not available to the public, especially if there's an incident? So with that in mind, leads the question: what do they know that I don't know? We already know the time frame doesn't match up. We already know that the logbook was doctored. We already know that the arrest report. But the booking report is. We all know this, but to pursue that would be a long uphill battle, because there's so many individuals that are involved in it. So many people who are involved in this covering up. And the reason why is because it's the way we always did something. We've always done things. We don't want no change. We don't want to keep up with our new laws. We don't want to keep up with whatever. And what's happening here is that the good old boy network is not working anymore. We have individuals who are business owners who've been here forever, packing up and leaving. Brookshire Brothers, they closed the big mall. They had a big ass store over here. They closed it. I like the new store though, but I'm just saying. And once again, it's moved close to 69. The reason for that is because the fact is they can't draw enough business locally, so they make their access to 69 available for passing by traffic. It kind of makes the ends meet or whatever. But I do have an issue when the public are mandated to allow for a gas station to be constructed, and then the students come out and say, the residents come out and say, we're going to file a lawsuit. Okay, well, go ahead. Okay, because lawsuits are the only way we can get anything done up here in Angelina County. That's it. Of course, with the stalling tactics or whatever. We got people in jail for sex abuse, sexual harassment, and there's been sexual abuse, whatever. They've been there 5 years. And not even had a trial, don't even have a plan of trial. There's nothing appears on the docket. So is the system rigged? Yeah, whatever system is rigged. But you have to find a way around all the rules and regulations and all the legal mumbo jumbo that they put out or whatever, and really just look at the subject. Where should you be able to go and get information about our public, for our government? It's supposed to be the Sunshine Act, turned to the Freedom of Information Act. So, and many times we have seen our county officials, our elected officials, no comment. They don't have nothing to say. They're afraid that they're going to say something to piss somebody off, or they're afraid that their constituents are not going to be happy with them, whatever stance they take. It's going to hinder them at the polls. Well, if this is the type of government that we have now in Angelina County, I think that, you know what, it's time for a clean house. We already started cleaning house on some of the procedures and the good old boy network, how it fits into the piece of the puzzle, and how it is actually abused. We abused that right, and we abused our county officials abused the right to actually share information. They're too busy looking up how they can get out of giving you that information, as opposed to giving you that information. I'll guarantee you, for every hour that's spent on researching requested material, okay, is they they throw everything but the book at you, hoping that you'll give up. And then also the fact is that there you go, you're gaslit everybody, you're a troublemaker, you're this, you're that, whatever. And that's gaslighting, and it's going to happen. But the fact of the matter is that, you know what, it's worth fighting for. I mean, when I see a group of individuals using other individuals as a stepping stone for their success, then one has to question their motives. One has to question their job responsibilities, what they're supposed to be doing, or whatever. Um, but that's not the case. We have nobody questioning. We have nobody standing up to say, you know what, hey, we need to see this. Show me. Show me. I remember when I was little, show me. I'm from Missouri. Show me. Let me see where it's written down. This is where we get in the problem, because the fact is that we believe everything that they tell us, and the reason sounds good, whatever. That's not actually what's happening. It's not actually how the decisions are being made. We know this because they won't be there. They will not allow any cameras into their open meeting or into their closed door sessions. They don't even discuss what they talked about in the meeting. Per the Freedom of Information Act, if they're going to go into executive session, they have to state the reason why. They're not give you all the freaking details. They have to state the reason why. I don't know what are they doing back there. Drinking a cocktail or something? I don't know. But we need to find out. And we need to find out which of our commissioners voted one way or the other. However, the fact is, we're being pulled over our eyes, because the fact is that they do not want it to come to light, and that they may be or may find themselves on the chopping block, because of the fact is that people are paying attention now. People are paying attention and asking questions, and whenever they can't get answers to these questions, then either they give up or quit, or then they get enthralled into it to where, you know what, let me just do some research on my own, let me do this or whatever. And I promise you, if you take an hour every day and look up anything that's appearing in the news, whatever. Now, like I said, don't use Lucky Daily News, because I'm just saying they're biased and they're pro-government, and I don't think I'll get into trouble for saying that. It's just that they tend to write stories that are uplifting about flowers, and instead of really addressing what's really going on in the world of politics. So we have currently in motion, we have set up a process to where if you can't get answers from the government, if they give you the runaround or whatever, then there is a place on the ORD. It's on their website, Attorney General of Texas, and it actually has a complaint section to where you can actually complain. So, in other words, if they write you back a letter and saying, you know what, we're sending it to the Texas Attorney General for legalities. Ain't that what we hired you for? Tell me you're not drawing $100,000 a year and you're deferring everything off to the Texas Attorney General. Where'd you go to law school? I guess I don't know. I got an online course for that. Hell, I can take that and be a lawyer, I guess. But anyway, like I said, we're going to have there's going to be numerous discussions, and there's going to be numerous facts that come out, all according to this information that they're hiding. Now, I want to make a personal appeal, is that anybody who actually, any trustee, anybody who was in the jail at that particular time, get in contact with me, because I want to know exactly what happened with Mr. Smallwood. If we notice on Mr. Smallwood, all the officers that were on duty were interviewed. None of the trustees, none of the inmates, none of the inmates who actually had to go into the cell and clean up the blood. Nobody, except for the law officers' statements. But let me leave you with this, or let me end with this. The fact is that he was dead at 11:36. They didn't book him till 12:28. That's all that needs to be said. The individual had a wound, wasn't dressed. He was placed in restraints, face down, and whether he was taking drugs or whatever, there's no reason to kill a man. That's no reason. And any system that actually promotes that or hides it is in violation of so many laws, like you can't shake a stick. So this is where our update is. We are I'm currently still working on things that I started and that I'm still getting correspondence. The thing about it is that, you know what, when you write these people, whatever, you got time to get back to you or whatever. But I do. I write, call on, check up, get an ETA on when I can inspect these documents or whatever. And with that being said, that I looked it up, researched it or whatever, and that is key to this is key to every county or in every state. Change only happens. Good change only happens when good people get involved. When good people are willing to put their reputation on the line, willing to say, hey, something's not right. Even if you think it's a stupid question, there are no stupid questions. Right? But let me see if I got this straight. But it comes to fruition to me that when there's only one county judge talking to another group of people and putting on a show, there's no input from the commissioners. We saw Keith Wright dress down a commissioner member in the meeting, all to maintain his dominance over the meeting. That's pure as it. He doesn't want the commissioners asking questions. He does not want them to vote no or to explain to them why. Now, we're not dealing with a bunch of, and on that note, we currently still have a road commissioner, road administrator, who is not an engineer. And people in Texas, people in Angelina County, we voted for a road engineer because the fact is that we kept going through the same thing over and over and over again. Roads weren't getting fixed properly. Missing funds in the road and road construction funds. We've been through all that. And we finally said we need a change. We need somebody to come in here, an engineer who will make the plans necessary to make sure these roads work. Now, Judge Wright had something to say. He said, well, he said, engineers don't go out and do the work. Well, you're right. He said he wanted somebody to go out and start getting the work done. Okay. But you have somebody that's unqualified, first of all, to make up any kind of engineering plan. You don't have an individual there who can actually put down cost effective profit and loss on this. You have no way of knowing what's going on with that. And that's what they want to keep it, because that road commissioner money adds up. As we've seen in the past, it's pretty much been used as a slush fund. And residents are squawking about it because the fact is, hey, damn it, I paid for these roads. Tired of freaking bumping myself to work. Or God forbid my kids get on the school bus and I hit one of the big potholes. Hell, you got 1 year. I mean, you got first graders and second graders on there. Their feet don't even hit the floor. These potholes out there, hell, that's just an accident waiting to happen. But I digress. So if it don't look right to you and you're in Angelina County, question it. Now they'll get pissed off at you, and they'll get pissed off at you when you question whatever. They'll question, And what they'll do is they'll call in the sheriff's department, they'll call in the deputies, they'll call anybody. You may walk out of there, but you go in jail when you leave out of there because you caused a ruckus, because you interrupted their freaking meeting. That believes that meeting belongs to them when it really doesn't. It belongs to them. It belongs to the people. And if the people have a question, you have the duty to answer that question. Not some bullshit that you put out on, that you tell everybody else or whatever. The only way we're going to correct the problem is for the truth to get out there and for us to make strides that will benefit the county instead of being detrimental to our county. We got a lot going on there. We got a lot going on with elected officials. Nobody wants to run anymore. We can't get quality people to run. And the reason why is because of the good old boy network. If you are in good with a good old boy network, they're going to support you. They're going to put you in office, whether you know anything or not. Let me ask you the question. Why do you think that you're in that position? Because do they have any hope on you or something? I don't know. These are questions that we all need to be asking now. I mean, closed mouth never gets fed. But then again, the procedures that are in place, if they're not followed, then there's a hitch in a giddy up. I mean, if you have all the freedom of information question you want, but the fact of the matter is that are they going to honor them? A few months ago, they had freedom of information request. They had a day dedicated for Freedom of Information Act and celebrating, accomplishments and whatever. And what we're finding out now is that we're getting released the information that it's incomplete. It's either redacted, or they leave out certain details, or they leave out anything that you can make a decision on. They leave a shadowed out. Well, okay. And that shadowed out comes, well, I guess I trust them. Well, I don't know about you, but I ain't made a living off of freaking trusting government. And I don't, because the fact is that I've been screwed over by them too many times. Or I seen it coming and got the hell out of the way. So, like I said, that's our update from Angelina County. We still got stuff that is still on the burner, and we still can't push through the 5th District Court. We still have an issue with subpoenas being filed or subpoenas being issued by the 5th District Court. And they are nice as hell when you go in there, but they're part of the same, what did you say? They're inside that bubble to where, they can only do so much. And also, the 5th District Court just got reprimanded by the Supreme Court for taking too long on decisions and are rendering decisions. And this is after they've had the information for 2 or 3 years, and now they're just finding it out, and they're trying to backtrack and say, okay, well, and that always gets everybody in trouble. I mean, it doesn't make any difference who you are. I mean, you start spouting shit off that ain't true, you're gonna get caught sooner or later. So I tell you the truth. Cop comes by my house and do this, now I'll do it. I tell you, well, I don't. I'll tell you if I did it. If I did something. I can tell you I did it. But on a lighter note, I have received back my 1851 Navy Confederate Colt that I have actually just cleaned and put away. I also have my intact. I have my 1851 Sheriff's Colt that is really working out really nicely. And I'm going this week to shoot in. I got a single barrel black powder. All this is black powder. Single shot. 50 cal that I'm going to go shoot in, sight it in. And the thing about that is that I found out I can make my own. I can make my own bullets, my own rounds. I'll need some lead. So if you guys know of anybody who has lead and they need to get rid of some lead, whatever, let me know. Whatever, I'll pay you. I will pay you asking price for it, or what's going market price for it. I'll pay for it. But it's really worked out well because not only does it supplement my ammo supply, but it also gives me a way to make my own and not be so dependent on the ammo stores and everything to keep ammo in. I have a big fear, like that you don't run out of ammo. That's why I prefer, well, for self-defense, I prefer my Colts. And as I said, disclaimer here, they're 1851 Navy Confederate Colts. Per 46.01 of the Texas Penal Code, it is considered an antique. It is called a curio. It's not considered a weapon, firearm, sidearm, none of that. Now, the reason why I say that is because the fact is that unfortunately, our law enforcement officers don't know that. And let me tell you how they can get you in mind. Say, for example, you decide to protect yourself with an antique or curio. Perfectly legal. You don't need a license. You don't need nothing. They'll deliver it straight to your door, the whole 9 yards. But the drawback is that if you're driving to the beach, for example, you can't stop anywhere. If you're driving, you can't, especially if you got a law enforcement history, then and the officer will just say, well, he's got a gun, so I'm taking him in. He's got a gun, wherever he's not supposed to have a gun or whatever. Surprise, I could have it. And for any law enforcement officer that is watching or has it, or has the ability to watch the YouTube or Facebook, that's illegal arrest right there. Now, many people tell me that, you're just searching for a lawsuit. You're just looking to make money. You're trying to do all this. No, I'm not. I'm really not. For what I do in research, whatever, I don't get any money for that. I don't care. I'm not doing it for the money. What I'm doing it is so that we still continue to have our rights and not have them infringed upon. 1851 Navy folks, cap and ball. You got to load it. You got to put powder, a shot, and you got to put a nipple on there. And it's not a fast process, but for self-defense purposes, it works, and it works to the point to where it's a 44 caliber. So it's like, definitely gonna get somebody's attention. I don't mean to promote weapons on here or whatever. I'm just saying that's my hobby, and I love Civil War era stuff, whatever. Anyway, too much information, right? Well, anyway, this is it for this evening. I'm still working on some things that, with the Attorney General. I got to call them tomorrow. And let's put it this way. What I'm doing is I'm keeping Angelina County on the front burner. I'm keeping them honest, whether they want to believe so or not. And I'm actually having higher ups outside the county dictate to them what is the law and what is not the law. I don't like that. I don't like that because it believes that Texas is telling the county what to do. Well, if you have a county like Angelina County, it needs to be cleaned up. And until that happens, then we're still going to have infrastructure that deteriorates. We're still going to have road and bridge complaints. We're still going to have issues with our roads, with our bridges, with all of our infrastructure that's going on. Matter of fact, the mall over here that we have, I don't see how it's staying in business. So we're downsizing, even though they want the economy to grow. No, they're downsizing because the fact is that nobody wants to move here. Nobody wants to deal with our government. The people, but once they get here and they start seeing how this government works, like I got to get out of here. Or people get like retired people here, they just retire. Like, oh, hell, I've already done my life. Hell, that's on y'all. Y'all do that or whatever. And they're right. We are responsible for participating in the future of our country. I know it sounds patriotic or ooh, but anyway, that's the honest truth, and that's how we started out. And that's how we have to maintain it. America's not the best country in the world. We know that. But the fact of the matter is the best we can do. With government like this, it is the best we can do just to break even. Just to have any kind of semblance of a law or officials that are expected to follow the law. So, anyway, I just thought I'd drop some thoughts on you guys. Not anything exciting or whatever. Anyway, look up some of those subjects that I mentioned, and you'll see the progression of these stories and how they're coming out. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's anybody going to be left standing. I don't know of any of our elected officials that will be left standing after all of this. I mean, and I'm not going out to wish them bad luck or say anything bad against them. What I'm saying is that what you've got is the government you got is not working. It's not working. It doesn't work for the common man. It doesn't work for the guy who's like it worked for Crown Colony, but it don't work for the rest of us. And that's what they need to understand. That the rest of us makes up who votes for you to put your ass in office. And if we need to, if we find out that you're breaking the law, if we find out that you're purposely breaking the law, then we are going to pursue that until we get answers. Simple as that, guys. You guys be good. Be careful. I'm out.